So we are ready to go then for 15 minutes. The lights go out, the race gets underway. Pretty even start there by the two on the front. It's Jessup then on the outside of the circuit. That's where pole position here is here at Silverstone. He's swept into the lead of the race then. Round Copse Corner they go for the first time. And off up towards Maggers, it's Trafford King in second place. The McMullen car just hiding behind there. The car that's come through from the third row of the grid, I think, which is Don de Graaf in number 15. And very much out of shape is that Zip livery car, even more out of shape. And into the gravel trap is the number 21 car, which is that of David Walsh. So he's into the gravel. Ben Saybold was out of shape as well. Green flags waving at the back of the shot there as cars recover. But it's Joe Jessup leading from, as he breaks himself, does he, into Brooklands from Trafford King as they round Brooklands and Luffield Corners markers for the first time.
Yeah, that was very spectacular, and that's de Graaf from sixth on the grid, isn't it, up into third place. He made a rocket of a start with another car off on the grass here, the 22 car.
That's Ethan Rogers, the newcomer from Fiesta Juniors.
Yeah, he was doing well, but look at the bingle down the side of that. That's been well hit. But out front, it is Jessup from King, those two with a few lengths over Don de Graaf in third and 15. Joe Delgado is in fourth. Joseph McMullen in. That was a lot of speed carried out at Copse, and the yellow car has made a result. That's McMullen coming back through the yellow and gunmetal car, making up for that moment for number 93, which is Delgado at Copse.
Number 13, Tom McFarlane, went from 25th to 14th on the open lap. Ross Pullman went the other way from 9th down to 21st. And Walsh, of course, he didn't end in the gravel trap because he's got back out of it and has completed the first lap. So we're on to lap 2 of the race then, and it's very tight between the first two then. Joe Jessup and Trafford King, they've got a little bit of daylight back to Don de Graaf in third place then, who has had a bit of a mixed season. Only a couple of podiums during the course of the year. We might have expected more from him. He struggles a little bit. On to Woodcote Corner they head now. There we see the 151 car heading that particular group. That's the car of Andy Stevens in that bright green car. But there's the first two, and you can see now they've pulled out quite a clear gap over Don de Graaf in third place of about 2 seconds.
Yeah, 1.8 between second and third now. De Graaf is in third, but his problem is not to fall prey to those in the chase. Here comes Trafford King having another look at Joe Jessup. Look, Jessup's car does seem a bit prone to locking wheels at this point of the race. And onto the Wellington Straight, and we now see Trafford King absolutely in the slipstream. Great part of the circuit to influence your position, try and move forward.
Into Brooklands, there goes the battle for third position, and the car in fifth. Delgado was locked up there as King here gets alongside, but on the outside line for Luffield Corner.
He's looking for the cut back on the exit, isn't he? And de Graaf's under great pressure behind. Here comes Trafford King up the inside through Woodcote, and he's put the car absolutely where it needed to be, and making his rival go the long way round. And it's Trafford King who's got his nose ahead, but only just as they come over the timing line. Yeah,
he's 88 1/1000 head over the timing line, but he's fully ahead now as they start lap 4 of this race. So through Copse Corner they go. Meanwhile, Don de Graaf just clinging on by a similarly small margin from Joe McMullen at the start of the lap, but that's changed around now. McMullen has got ahead en route to Copse Corner. So number 11, Joe McMullen, goes to third. Down to fourth goes number 15, Don de Graaf, and Joe Delgado, number 93, right with them as well. And there's a gap back to sixth place, which is now the car of number 12, which is Richard Jones. Two leaders still at it, hammer and tong. We're watching here the battle for third though, Marcus.
Yeah, it's this mad dash down into Brooklands, a 90-degree left-hander with a very late apex, but de Graaf meanwhile clings to the territorial advantage into Luffield, and they race out towards Woodcote. This is the trio disputing third place, with McMullen currently in third in that half and half car, the bright yellow front, the gunmetal silver rear, and he's got de Graaf in behind him, and then Delgado in fifth place.
And Ben Saybold now up to sixth. He's got his way back ahead of Richard Jones after the dramas that he had down at Beckett's on the opening lap of the race. We're a third of the way through this race, 10 minutes still to go. We've got Delgado now alongside De Graaf. He's going to be on the inside line for the near hairpin at Beckett's, and Delgado slides his car up the inside. Can he keep the position? He's not going to run too wide on the exit. No, both taking a pretty similar line through the second part of the corner. Now De Graaf is going to try and pick up the toe from Delgado, possibly, and try and get the position back as they make their way down to Brooklands.
Yep, and they're reaching a pretty decent old lick down the Wellington straight, lifting an inside wheel as they turn through Brooklands, now into Luffield, and he can't leave the door open there, otherwise your pursuer will take advantage, hopping out over the curb on the exit. Don De Graaf shaking to the back of that trio now, ahead of Ben Siebold in number 95.
Trafford King with a new fastest lap of the race, a 1:07.815. Lap record for these cars, set 3.5 years ago by Adam Shepherd, is a 1:07.55. So still a quarter of a second or so outside of that mark. But King pulls another tenth or so on Jessup that time. Still not really what you'd call getting away though. The gap's still less than half a second. Squeal of tyres as the cars carry a lot of speed through Copse Corner. One or two running a little bit wide onto the tarmac runoff area on the exits of the corner, it would seem.
I went down to Copse during qualifying. It was all very exciting, and you hear that squeal. It's quite off-putting, but they all get through, and that's Idewine down the field, number 7.
Yeah, so they're heading off down the Wellington straight. We've lost 2 drivers, Walsh and Delisle, into the pits during the course of this race. So 23 cars still circulating. Luke Evans it is at the back of that field. This is a big pack of cars though. It includes the likes of 374 Kai Lindsay, back to the 151 car of Andy Stevens as well at the back of that particular group. Trafford King's gone faster again now, 1:07.699. Jessup did a 1:07.766. Can't quite keep up with him. The gap now just over half a second, 0.549 seconds between the two leaders. But the bigger scraps now, it seems, are down the order, and this one coming towards us has, I think, at the front of it, the 19 car of Ollie Musgrave.
Yep, it's Musgrave and I think Rickard and Lindsay are in there. There's Lindsay in 374. It's a fabulous battle down the order. I know they're working for these positions in the midfield.
Oh, two very closely positioned cars side by side there. Jessup looks to have caught King again on this lap. We'll pick up on that in a moment.
I wonder whether that will threaten the lap record. It must be getting pretty close.
Yeah, 1:07.55, as I say, is the mark. But you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars in that scrap there, going back to Stevens in 14th position. So it's 9th back to 14th this scrap. The lead gap has come down to less than 0.3 of a second now. I can see on our timing screen 0.286 seconds now of the gap between them. Jessup's improved his own personal best lap now to 1:07.758. But we're watching number 12, which is Richard Jones, make his way through there. And behind him, he's got the number 16 car, which is that of Adam Huntley. But we've got a change of lead.
Yeah, back up the inside into the hairpin. And Trafford King's got the cutback on the exit down at Beckett's. They are side by side. That's no way to gain a toe, and it's last of the late breakers when they get under that bridge, under the vehicle bridge there, and down into the braking area they come then. And it's Jessup who prevails.
He does, so it's Jessup getting the lead back from Trafford King. There's now 6 minutes of this race left to go. You sense that Trafford King's not done yet though. This battle for supremacy is going to go right down to the wire. Sort of how we thought this might play out after qualifying. Oh, there's a little bit of a nudge there. That's between Ollie Musgrave, pushed to pass them, I think, to get past the number 26 car of Lee Rickard, and that's recovering the position. It opens the door for Ross Borman to go through on the inside as Rickard runs out wide over the runoff area.
Yeah, Borman in that kind of pinky coloured car made hay at that point, but just ahead of them, I see 2 side by side. This is getting very close. Jessup and King out front. McMullen, Delgado and De Graaf and Siebold pretty set in their next 4 places.
Yeah, those 2 side by side were Huntley and Jones for 7th and 8th position. They were 0.019 seconds apart over the timing line.
That's the Snap-on Tools car there of 95, which is Siebold.
Yeah, Yeah, really good performance this from Adam Huntley, up in 7th position, by far his best result of the season so far. He's not been in the top 10 so far this season.
Seabold's just made a move, and he's just disposed of Don de Graaf, at least for the time being, coming down into Brooklands. He's now got Ricard, I think that is, ahead of him in 26. Leaders over the line for the 9th time.
Yeah, they were touching on whether to get 4 or 5 more laps out of it. They are a little bit quicker than the Clios by a second or two a lap, something like that. One car taking a bit more curb through Copse that time. It was Don de Graaf there, as he's trying to get back on terms with Ben Seibold, having lost the position to Seibold a few moments ago. Dalgarno in the 93 car, just ahead as well. They are letting really Joe McMullen in the number 11 car get away a little bit now. Meanwhile, Trafford King up front is trying to pull out of the slipstream again.
And here comes Seibold down the outside line here, outside the 93 of Dalgarno, and they're side by side through the apex of the left-hander, but into the right they go, and it is Seibold who's got up, kind of bored a hole down the inside through which the 15 car of de Graaf has come back.
Joe Jessup and Trafford King go through. They might just about squeeze 4 more laps out of this, I reckon. They're 0.3 of a second apart, 5 seconds now clear of this group that we're watching. McMullen in 3rd, Seibold 4th, de Graaf and Dalgarno, who's dropped back to 6th position over the timing line that time through. And then there's another sort of 4-second gap pass from Dalgarno back to Huntley, who's having such a good run in 7th position. But this is the battle we're watching for 5th and 6th as it turns its way out of Beckett's onto the Wellington Straight. This is lap 11.
Yeah, Ben Seibold in the circuit car. And up front, we've got an attack on the lead, but Ben Seibold now trying to get in the tow of McMullen. It's still, though, Joe Jessup who hangs on from Trafford King, but Trafford King mounting an attack round the outside into Luffield, okay, looking for that exit and the tighter exit to get him down the inside out. So, there's a car off. It's 19 from down the order.
18, I think. It's Matthew Duffel that's off. That's Copse corner. So Marshall's with him, making sure that driver is okay and getting him out of the car. Meanwhile, the leads have gone over the line again. Still 0.3 of a second between Jessup and King. The McMullen, Seibold, de Graaf and Dalgarno. No changes in the order in the top 6 on that lap, and we have 2 and a bit minutes of this race left to go. There's that group for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th heading down into Copse, into Beckett's again, I should say. That's de Graaf and Dalgarno doing battle.
Yeah, Dalgarno on the outside, and up ahead I see Seibold is all over the back of Joseph McMullen as they go onto the straight. And up ahead of them under the bridge, probably 200-300 metres up the road, are the leaders, and they're very, very close again coming into Brooklands. Seibold has a look. He's not quite close enough. Could be much closer turning through the apex, could he?
No, he looked up, and it was in danger of just clonking the back of the car ahead of him there, which would have put McMullen no doubt into a spin at Brooklands corner.
Yeah, exactly. It's very easy to knock a car, a front-wheel drive car, into a tail slide, that situation, inadvertently. But here's the battle for the lead, and it's Trafford King, who certainly hasn't given up. He's absolutely in the slipstream. He kind of doesn't really want to be ahead onto the Wellington Straight. There's the car in the background of Matthew Duffel, which is parked up.
Yeah, it's a shame for the man from Griffitham in Leicestershire that he's out of the race. Fingers crossed the car will be ready to go for race 2 at around about 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Penultimate lap.
Yeah, and the two still very close for the lead. Trafford King can't write him off just yet, can you? He makes a feint down to the inside into Brooklands corner, but Jessup covered that off.
Yeah, he does. Trafford King turns in a fraction later, trying to get a bit more speed out of the corner. It's a game of chess. It's working out what's going to happen 3 laps. And then there, up the inside comes Seibold. There's a touch, and McMullen gets out of shape. That was all a bit unfortunate, but I think it was just one of those one of those little incidents. He did take the dive, he was halfway alongside, and there was a brush. But there is a change then for third place as Ben Seebold comes up into third from McMullen, De Graaf and Delgado.
Last lap then, the leaders still only 0.3 of a second apart as they head down through Maggots for the final time. They go past the green flag that was protecting the incident zone at Copse Corner. So can Trafford King, as he looks for his third win of the season, do anything about Joe Jessup, who's otherwise on course for his fifth? Further back, Don De Graaf up the inside now of the number 11 car of McMullen, so he was third. He might be fifth before the end of this race. He's using all of the roads and a bit more on the exit of Beckett's to try and keep the position. He might just about have done it. Meanwhile, the leaders are very close as they go through Brooklands as well, but not quite close enough, I don't think, for Trafford King to make this work. They're turning their way through Brooklands corner, now through Luffield corner for the final time. Only a car length between them. Meanwhile, that's De Graaf getting the position away as they're wrestling the wheel. It looks like De Graaf's going to get fourth place out of this, but the leader heading to the finish line, and then the checkered flag goes out, and a win by 0.231 seconds for Joe Jessup then over Trafford King in second place. Third place is going to be Ben Seebold, who's sort of kept out of trouble on the final lap, although he was involved in it on the penultimate lap. Fourth place goes to number 15, Don De Graaf. Sixth place to number 11, Joe McMullen. And sixth is 93, Joe Delgado. Adam Huntley is in seventh place, number 16. Eighth place goes the way of number 12, which is Richard Jones. Ninth to number 19, Ollie Musgrave. And rounding out the top 10 was Ross Borman at the end of a fantastic race for the Tegiwa Type R Trophy, the first of two today for those cars. Did have three retirements, two to the pits. The 21 car of David Walsh, who was through the gravel on the opening lap, of course, and also 61 James Delisle, the driver from Berkhamsted. We lost Matthew Duffel in an incident at Copse Corner as well. But these are the cars that did finish, and they had a 14-lap race in the 15 minutes available to them. Number 28, Joe Jessup it was, that took the win in his Type R. Second place to number 42, Trafford King. The gap between them was just 0.231 seconds. In third position was number 95, Ben Seebold. Fourth was 15, Don De Graaf, after a combative final lap or so in the mid-pattern battle. Fifth was number 11, Joe McMullen, who was running third for a long time, and sixth was 93, Joe Delgado. Best result of the season for number 16, Adam Huntley. He was seventh, ahead of number 12, Richard Jones. Ollie Musgrave took eighth place, and Ross Borman rounded out the top 10, with Lee Rickard, Kai Lindsay, Jake Johnson and Richard Lindsay next cars through. Further back, it was Andy Stevens and Tom McFarlane, who had a great start but then didn't really go anywhere after that. Ethan Rogers, recovering from a first lap off to take 17th on his debut. John Abella, Andrew Idwin, Ursula Jordan, Adam Parker and Luke Emmons rounding out 22 finishes in the Tegiwa Type R Trophy race. There's another race for them later on today. That is at around about 3 o'clock, so do stay tuned to Alpha Live for that. And we've got one more race before the lunch break as well, which is one where the championship is yet to be decided. The Aim Shop Mazda 7s for the low cost with the Mazda MX-5 running here. There's no green flag lap either for those cars. We're ready to go down now to the pit lane. Josh Broward is going to speak to our top three from the Tegiwa Type R Trophy.
And we're down here after another close tin-top race on the 750 Motor Club with a race win for Joe Jessup in the Tegiwa Type R Trophy. He's just taken his helmet off. Last year's champion was Joe, but it's another race win this season. Well done, Joe, and it was a very close race over Trafford.
Yeah, it was really, really close. It is so fast. So I think I spent 75% of the race in the mirrors on that one. But yeah, really good race.
Obviously, he did get past you, and then you managed to get back past a few laps later.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he might just start to sort of eke away from me a little bit, but I managed to stick with him, and then I just stuck it on the inside around the back of the circuit, and then just defended like hell to keep him there.
Obviously, the race a bit later, the reverse grid race will be a little bit different.
Should be, yeah. It always mixes it up a bit, so yeah, I'm sure it'll be another fun race. Weather's good for it, so yeah, looking forward to it.
Well done on that win. So there's Joe Jessup, our winner. In second place was Trafford King. Traff, such a close race. You got in front for a bit, but then Joe passed you again.
Yeah, well, I hope that was as good to watch as it was to be in. Yeah, it was really close. Like, I had a little bit of a tyre advantage at start, and it was literally whoever made a mistake in that one. Couple of tiny bits, and then sort of had a little bit of a drive, and then I did the same into Copse, ran on a little bit. Joe had the cut back on me, and then that was it then.
And one more race to go. Do you reckon you get the win in that one?
We'll see. We'll certainly fight through, but we'll see what happens.
Well done on that race. And then, Benny, well done on the podium. You didn't make it easy on lap 1, though.
Oh no, I had an averagely good start, and I thought I'll stay out of trouble. And then into turn 2, I had a nice little love tap from behind that sent me rallying. So I thought, right, sort your head out. I went back to 6th, and yeah, had a good little battle for 2 laps with Joe McMullen. We had a few little nudges here and there, but yeah, super happy.
Both of you, I think, were looking for your first podium of the year, so it was quite, you were both keen to have it.
Scrapping for it, yeah, massively. And yeah, these guys here, Tommy Sinnott, him and his little lad are always here sorting the car out. So yeah, really happy. Thank you.
And for you, obviously, you've been sort of out of this type of racing for a few years. What's it like being back right in the pack there?
I went into little 116s, which are really good for teaching you kind of cornering speed with a slow speed car. But these guys, I mean, to be up here with the big boys feels amazing. They are actually animals to drive, but managed to just about tame it that time. So.
How different are they to the Clio that you raced a little while ago?
It's all about the VTEC, keeping the revs high, so quite a bit quicker. They feel a bit more of a beast, but I've still got a soft spot for those little Clios.
Oh, well done on that result. Good luck later. So there's our top 3 from Type R Trophy. Shortly, we'll be into our next race because no green flag lap for the Aim Shot Master 7 Championship cars, which will be out on track in just a moment.